thedailymass.com. Experience the Roman Catholic Mass from historic St. Louis Cathedral every day on thedailymass.com. His love, anywhere in the world.
Good evening, I'm Sarah McDonald.
And I'm Jason Angelette. Welcome to Issues in Faith.
Well, this week in the Catholic Church, we celebrated the Feast of the Annunciation.
Yes.
It's not a holy day of obligation.
Solemnity, though.
It is a solemnity. It's a day of celebration for sure, and we celebrate Mary's yes to become the mother of Christ. And I was inspired looking on Tuesday at Facebook at all of the various messages and images of the Annunciation. Yeah,
people love to share their faith. I think that's one of the beauties of Facebook is that you get to kind of evangelize through it. You get to kind of show your faith and share your faith with others. And I think it's a great opportunity. And I think that the message to itself to remind us, obviously one of the beauty of Mary and the role that she plays in salvation history is amazing. And the invitation that we're called to, like how Christ invited the disciple to welcome her into his home, and he did that. But to also look at her life and how she meditated things on her heart and to really capture the life of Christ into her heart, but also at the same time, that beauty, that yes.
Yes.
And that yes and what happened when she said yes, Christ came into the world. And in a sense, we all have an ability to say yes each and every day to uniquely bring Christ somehow into this world.
And that is something that our Neural Vocations office was focusing on a lot yesterday, was that yes, asking people to pray for those who are discerning the call to priesthood and religious life, and to pray for those who have accepted that call and who are priests and are religious, who daily get up and say that yes to God and his service, to his church directly, and to also pray for married couples who get up every morning and say yes again to their marriage vows.
That's right, and it's a marriage as a vocation too as well, so that like people who are engaged or thinking about marriage, they should realize that this first and foremost is a call from God. God's calling them together. They might think they're really hot stuff, and that's why they're dating this person. But the foundation of it is the fact that God is calling them, is willing them, desiring them to be together, and so we have to follow God's plan and God's will for that, and help us to say yes to His calling, and not maybe sometimes our own selfish desires.
And this is also sort of a feast that reminds us of Mary's humanity. As well. Because when you look at what biblical scholars say, here she was betrothed to St. Joseph. They were not married. In a time in which being found pregnant,
she'd have been stoned.
Exactly. Meant death for her. And her bravery in facing what would be, in this day and age, an unplanned, challenging pregnancy is just extraordinary. And it's a reminder for us
not to live in fear.
Not to live in fear. And also to support those women who do find themselves in those troubled pregnancies, who have said yes to life and to the life of their child and to their own lives, really, in saving their souls and their child's soul, and just being open to love. And that in and of itself will allow God's love and mercy to flow into that.
And there is going to be, when we say yes to God, there are always challenges. And that's what we really focus in on during Lent, is we focus that there is this challenge. There's the desert, there's the Calvary, there's the death on the cross, but we also believe that through death there's new life. And then if we embrace the challenges, embrace our cross, carry it, then God promises a way out. He gives us His grace, and He's with us the whole time. And so, whatever the challenge may be, if by saying yes, we have to recognize that there will be challenges, but realize that there's going to be graces and there's going to be strength. Mary had a challenge. She embraced a challenge. In the beauty of her yes, there was also the great challenges that were placed before her, but also too, God was with her and raised her up, and it's amazing.
And Pope Francis reminded us this week via Twitter, once again, using social media.
Praise God.
That Jesus is never far from us sinners.
No,
especially in our challenges, but we have to remember Him in our joys as well.
I feel like exactly right. In the challenges, God is with us the whole time. Like if we are lost, if we're the lost sheep, then we have to realize that He actually left the 99. He's out searching for us. So He's close to us. He is deeply invested in trying to save us. And so if we think we're far away, then that's, I think, a sign that says no, that God is actually more closest to us.
Now, we need to remember to discuss more of these solemnities and all the lessons. They're so multidimensional. Our church is so beautiful, and the lessons that it gives us every day with the solemnities, the lives of the saints, and we just need to always remember how blessed we are to have our Catholic faith and rooted in so much truth.
I agree. Well, in the 1980s, a Catholic priest saw a need in the community for the church to care for those stricken with HIV/AIDS. Today, that ministry lives on in the Marigny. Sarah sits down tonight with Kim Moss, Executive Director, and Tasha Duplantis, Peer Support Specialist of Project Lazarus, to learn more about this ministry.
Well, Tasha and Kim, thank you so much for being with us to share a little bit more about the work of Project Lazarus.
Thank you for having us.
Well, Kim, I want to start by reminding our viewers, because you've been our guest before, but reminding our viewers a little bit about the history and mission of Project Lazarus.
Okay. Well, the history dates back to the early 1980s when AIDS hit this community extremely hard, and the old Holy Trinity German Catholic Church there in the Marigny, the pastor, Father Paul DeRosiers, noticed that as he walked through the quarter, there were many black wreaths hanging from the doors and from the balconies, and he asked someone what was happening. He was told that there was a disease that was striking young gay men, and they were being kicked out of their homes, ostracized from their families, and they had no place to go, and they were literally dying in the streets. He, along with Father Bob Powell, approached the Archbishop at the time and said, we have this very serious problem, and the Archbishop just wrapped his arms of love around the issue, and thus Project Lazarus became an agency that provided housing primarily back then for people who were dying of the disease. So it really was a hospice for many, many years.
And it has changed drastically, the whole I hate to say it, but the image of HIV/AIDS and also the mission of Project Lazarus has evolved with that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a remarkable change. It's a remarkable change in the disease itself, that becoming HIV positive used to be almost a certain death sentence. Now, living with HIV is a chronic illness. So in 2012, actually, not one single person died at Project Lazarus, and used to be hundreds each year pass away. So in the process of course, having an organization that used to focus on helping people die well, now we focus on helping people live well. So our programs have evolved, as have our mission. The mission is still the same, of providing good, stable housing, but now we really also provide the supportive services that prepare our residents to move out into the community with jobs, living independently, knowing how to balance their checkbook, understanding about budgeting, and really preparing them for independent living in the community as responsible individuals.
And Tasha, you're now an employee at Project Lazarus, but you came to Project Lazarus as a client.
Yes.
It's a very powerful story. Can you tell us a little bit about coming to Project Lazarus and what it's meant for you as you get to this journey?
I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for many years, and I did not see any light at the end of the tunnel. I've been infected with HIV since 1996, and through the years of having HIV, I became very desolate, full of hopelessness and despair, and feeling that I had nowhere to turn to. Being transgendered in the community, it was very, very hard for me to have a solid footing, and so I succumbed to drugs and alcohol and prostitution, all that goes with the street life. And I was hospitalized twice for not related to HIV, but after the second time, my case manager referred me to Project Lazarus. And when I went there, I did not think that the people there were when I walked in, they were so loving and so, open arms and want to just cradle you. And I was so suspect of that because, where I came, side of the streets I came from, you did not trust that easily. But it wasn't long before I, knew that this was sincere. Yeah. And so knowing that they wanted to help me gave me the motivation to want better for myself, because these are strangers and they didn't know me from a can of paint, and they really wanted to help me and to see me do better for my life. And so I did. I went through all the programs, and I've watched Mr. Kim initiate a lot of the the changes at Project Lazarus, and it just inspired me. I was in awe of everything that I was watching with the agency, and doing the personal work that I needed to do for myself to recover from alcohol and drugs and to live a healthy life. It wasn't. I was at Project Lazarus for 18 months. I was the president of the resident council that Mr. Kim had initiated, and of the program that we teach the residents to advocate for themselves. If there's something that they feel like they need at the agency, they can come to us, and we would see.
Just like a homeowners association.
Just like a homeowners association. And it was really cool to see that develop. So there was a lot of things that was going on in Project Lazarus that inspired me to want to be better. When I moved out of Project Lazarus, I was scared to death because I didn't know, what am I going to do? But I was there for 18 months.
But you were a success story. You got independent.
But it was still scary
Sure.
because, for the first time in my life, I was stepping out on my own, and I didn't know how that footing was going to feel like. But from the tools that I gained from Project Lazarus and all the love that I learned, that I gotten from the staff and the residents there, gave me a self-worth that is unreplaceable.
And now you're helping residents.
And now I'm helping residents. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
I've been afforded the opportunity to give back to an agency that's given so much to me.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and I feel like I owe my life to them.
Well, how can people in the community, you're getting emotional as we talk, but how can people in the community continue to support Project Lazarus? So often we're hearing Pope Francis to go out and tell us to go out and encounter people as a church and welcome people with those loving arms that Project Lazarus showed you. How can the community get more involved in the agency?
Well, the first is simply come and visit. And come for a tour. So many people think they know Project Lazarus, but they don't until they come on the campus and see the almost entire city block of gardens, and the campus is magnificent. And remembering that the residents are people who so many of them come from homeless situations and don't feel loved, and simply sitting across the table and talking with them, playing cards, playing checkers. It's so easy.
Sharing a meal.
That's right. To get for folks to get involved that way.
It means so much to the residents to see that people, we're not ostracized. We are accepted. We are worthy, and seeing that interaction with the community, with us, it really, really helps our self-esteem, because for so many years we were stigmatized, and we're trying to change that today.
And you were saying you were so suspect of it because you weren't open, and this has opened up yourself.
It's real. It's real. They do care. They love us.
And you have your annual gala coming up as well.
Yes, we're excited about that next month. Tuesday, April the 22nd is our patron party, which is held at Windsor Court Hotel from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the incredible boardroom and library, beautiful area there. And then the next evening, Wednesday, April the 23rd, is the annual Guardian Angel Award Gala at City Park Pavilion of Two Sisters, a beautiful setting, of course. And we're very excited that our Guardian Angel Awards this year are going to Ms. Patricia Denishaw, as well as to Archbishop Emeritus Alfred Hughes. Archbishop Hughes comes every Friday still, and the residents love to see him, and he prays with them and blesses them, and the staff, we love seeing him as well. And this year we're giving our highest award, which is the Powell DeRosier Award, named after the two men who approached the Archbishop at the time. And that award is going to Halloween New Orleans, which is a group of people who have been raising money specifically for Project Lazarus since the early 80s, and have raised over $4.5 million for Project Lazarus. So we're so proud to be able to give these great people those awards.
Well, I want to thank you, Kim. As Tasha was saying, you have implemented so many changes that have been so positive for Project Lazarus in just the short time that you've been there. And Tasha, I want to you will have my prayers and support for your life and for the lives that you're touching every day. And thank you for your ministry and for accepting this to help those in the community who are struggling and need that sense of value of their own lives.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, once again, the Guardian Angel Gala is set for April 23rd at the Pavilion of Two Sisters in New Orleans. More information about the event, including the patron party and about Project Lazarus, is online at www.projectlazarus.net.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The Catholic Cultural Heritage Center is expanding its programming to reach a new audience, high school students. Joining us tonight to talk about the inaugural Catholic New Orleans Student Art Competition is Dr. Emily Gagné-Loomis, Archdiocesan Archivist and Curator of the Old Ursuline Convent Museum. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Jason.
So tell us about this brand new event that's going on.
Well, you know, we have at the museum, we have currently our Hannon, Archbishop wore combat boots exhibit. And during the summer months, between the time that we have an exhibit that was our big exhibit and then the next exhibit that's coming up, we wanted to do something for our students, and we wanted to involve our high school students. So we decided to have an art contest, and we're asking all of the high school students within the Archdiocese of New Orleans, so that's 8 civil parishes, so that's a pretty widespread group, to submit art to us on the theme of Catholic New Orleans.
Wow. So this is going to be high school. You're looking at 9th all the way to senior in high school?
It'll be 9th. It'll be freshman through senior. Each grade level will be judged on its own, so freshmen will not be competing with seniors. And then each level we will award first, second, and third, and there'll be some monetary prizes to go along with that. We may actually also, the judges have the opportunity to pick some honorable mention that will still go on display, but that, you know,
might not get the prize.
Might not get the prize, but they will feel is worthy enough, or that has interest, or, you know, there's something, there's a story there that they want to also show.
To recognize.
Yeah, to recognize those people.
Fantastic. So tell us about the judges.
Well, the judges there are Father Philip Landry, who's the director of the museum and also the pastor for the St. Louis Cathedral. He's the rector. There's also the museum board director, Barbara Turner Windhorst. And then there are 3 professional judges, one of them being Renee Richard, who is in Baton Rouge. Mike Bolerjack, who is an artist here that shows his work on Magazine Street, and Yvette Gagne, who happens to be my mother, who is also, though, a professional artist, and she shows her work out in Colorado.
So you really have a stellar group of judges to look at everything, to give a real good eye on the piece. And,
we do.
And so it's not like some people just, hey, come look at this stuff. I mean, it's going to be really judged by people who know what they're talking about.
Right. Well, we chose 3 professional artists to judge, but we also wanted people such as the museum board president and Father Landry, because sometimes there's a feel to art.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you look at art, you know what you like.
Yes.
You don't have to necessarily be
an expert,
right, to know color.
You know,
you do need that, but we also
sure.
wanted, that's why we have a mix of 5 judges to give a different eye.
Now, you said the Archdiocese of New Orleans covering all those regions, but you say not just Catholic schools, though. So if a homeschool, public school?
Yes, homeschool, public school. You don't even have to be Catholic. If you have an affinity for wanting to express yourself of what Catholic New Orleans is. It says Catholic New Orleans, but it's the Archdiocese. So if you, I probably can spit off all the different parishes. So we're talking about Washington, St. Tammany, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, Orleans Parish, Jefferson, St. Charles, and St. John the Baptist.
That's
so
fantastic.
That's the wide,
that's
wide
impressive
net.
that you even were able to remember all that.
That's what the Archivist of History does.
Praise God. So tell us more about the event too. What are some of the exact types of art that you're all looking for exactly?
So the way you're going to submit their designs is through JPEG. So they just have to take a picture of their artwork that they've designed. Has to be or cannot be larger than 24 by 36 or 36 by 24, because that's the hanging spot, hanging space that we have. It could be smaller than that. It can be watercolor, it can be pen and ink, it can be oil, it can be acrylic, it can be that sort of mixture of paint that people want to put on a canvas. And so that's what we're looking for that. Submissions are due May 1st. The judges will make their decisions by May 23rd, and then we'll ask those that are chosen to go on exhibit to bring us their art, and by June 1st, and it will be hung. There will actually be a small opening, so the parents and guests will be able to come in, and they'll have sort of a private showing at the museum, and then we'll open it up through September. So September the 1st is when it will close.
So how long again? So we'll start, people will be able to come and see everything?
They'll be able to start seeing the high school art June 13th, and it'll run through September 1st.
Now go back to submissions. You people, how do you get, if someone wants to participate, do they need to contact you early before that?
Well, what they need to do is go online and fill out the paperwork. There's an application, and it just is basic name, address, school, grade level, that sort of thing. And then they submit their JPEG by May 1st to us to let the judges look at.
And like as far as the type of art, like pencil, pen, color, paint?
Yeah, it's all up there. It's all on the application form, and it gives them the dimensions and all of that.
So tell us again the importance of something like this.
Well, high school students, especially art students, they have a different, unique eye, and their expression of what Catholic New Orleans is important. And I don't think that anyone has actually focused on that before and asked them on this wide level and being able to exhibit their art on what that means. So not only is it a way of us supporting those art students, because those that win will get some prize money that they can then go out and buy more art supplies and continue on that expression. But it also gives them the ability on their resumes, as if they're going to be artists and go on to study art in college, they can say they were exhibited at the museum. And so it's a give and take for both, for the students and for us, and we just want them to be able to have another avenue of expression.
So this is the first time doing it. What was the big impetus to really bring this to place?
Well, we have a time period in the summer that I always have to put up an exhibit. And I just had this thought, we need to involve the community in this exhibit. And some of the other board members and I got together, and Sarah with communications, and we just came up with the idea and submitted it, and everybody thought it was great. And
it's brilliant,
so
it really is.
For it,
I think that there's so much that expresses, people can express in art, and people have a gift and a talent for it, and to be able to help them to see, to express it through the culture, through the lens of the Catholic.
And the other thing that we are going to do is it will live on. So even after the exhibit comes down on September 1st, we'll move the JPEGs onto a virtual exhibit. So it will live as Catholic New Orleans High School Art on the website. And if this works, we'll do it again next year. So we'll then, we won't have the inaugural, then we'll have the second annual.
Fantastic.
So it'll be we'll just continue that tradition.
Well, it sounds amazing. Congratulations on putting this together. This is it sounds amazing. I hope great success with it. Tell us again of more information. Where can we go?
For more information, you can go to the Archdiocesan website, which is www.arch-no.org. Submissions and questions can go to Shields, SHIELDS, at arch-no.org.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us, Doctor. God bless you and all that you're doing. Again, submissions are being accepted through May 1st by email to rshields@arch-no.org, and more information again on the website arch-no.org. Thanks so much, and we'll be right back.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Cox Channel 14, Charter Channel 11 and 711, AT&T Channel 32 and 1032, Dish TV, Direct TV, and over-the-air broadcast on Channel 32.
Years ago, Archbishop Amen started a new program in the Archdiocese, one that supports the campaign against violence, murder, and racism. Based on an Old Testament passage, the Isaiah 43 program pairs a mentor with a young person, and the results are changing and enriching lives. Janet Groves has a story from St. David Church.
Oh yeah! Tonight they meet for a workshop, informal, some dinner, just talking, spending a little time together. This is part of Isaiah 43, a program to help young people and their parents or guardians.
The program was taken from a passage from the prophet Isaiah that reminds us that God sees us as precious in his eyes. He loves us, and he has called us by name. And so we see it as our responsibility to make sure that our youth know how much they are loved by God, that they understand their value, that they understand how much their life means.
The kids are just regular kids. Maybe they can use an extra shoulder to lean on, or some good advice from someone who cares, or somebody to talk to. The mentors are people from the church who care, who want to help, who want to make a difference in a young person's life.
The kids at first was a little apprehensive. Jara would be so resistant. And Monica just came in and put her foot down and started bringing her places and talking to her about the values.
So I stood on the rocking chair and the back of the chair went and it hit me right in the face.
They do a lot of talking and even more listening. It's a 1-year commitment for the mentors and the kids. At least 4 hours a month spending time together at workshops and on their own.
And then each mentor is assigned to work with one youth throughout the course of the year. And it's really during that time that they build the relationship and get to know each other. And so they decide what they would like to do together with that time, depending on what they're interested in.
His basketball games, I take him places on the weekend. We go out and eat. I call him, we text, of course. Texting is the thing. You know, we talk about things and everything, you know. Even if I need to talk to him about something, I can call him. You know, he has really good insights on things.
It's best to learn yourself because you're not learning anything cheap. One of his big things he's always telling me, to be consistent, to be a man of your word, to dedicate your time, even when you don't want to. You can always find him around the church doing something, cutting the grass, helping father. And he inspired me to do the same. At school, I'm always a part of a program, always doing something. At home, I'm always doing something.
Even if the program at the end has impacted only one child, this is a big thing.
I know how to play, and I know how to play different notes now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Even as the program builds at a few churches, they know the need exceeds the volunteers right now.
We want to engage the whole Catholic community because we know that it's not enough to just stand by and watch what's happening. We all have to become involved in this program.
So the search is on for those who want to be a part of the future.
I'm up for it. I'm in it for the long haul.
I'm Janet Gross for Issues and Faith.
The mentoring component is only part of Isaiah 43. There's another side that supports parents and guardians. And while right now the Isaiah 43 program is in 5 area churches, the goal is to start one in every parish of the Archdiocese.
If you have a question for us or an idea that you'd like to see on here, please write to us at Issues in Faith at 3330 North Causeway Boulevard, Suite 345, Metairie, Louisiana 70002. Or you can email us at questions@WLAE.com. Plus, if you missed an episode, you can catch up online at www.archdiocese-no.org.
And that's our program for this evening. For all of us at Issues in Faith, thanks for watching.
We'll be back next week. Hope you join us again soon. Until then, God bless.